Hey, good day, everyone. Today I'm just sitting in my truck. It's my day off, so I'm really thankful to have that day of just rest and to relax and spend time with family. But I just want to make a little I don't know what you call it, like a casual like discussion video about the new zero tolerance knives, their 2021 lineup. But before I kind of get into that, I do want to do like a EDC check or everyday carry check. So today I'm rocking the Omega Speedmaster. They just came out with like I guess an update on this model with the new movement and everything. But yeah, I've had this watch for a while, and it's just been ticking along. Awesome. And then also in my pocket for my knife today, I'm carrying the We Knives Mini Buster. This was in collaboration with Snexten, and this is I have a review up on my YouTube channel, so go ahead and check it out. It just gives you my thoughts after carrying it and using it for about a week. Yeah, this is an awesome knife. Anyways, let's go on and go into the discussion. Today, which is Monday, I think around 9 in the morning, Zero Tolerance, they, gave us a heads up about their 2021 lineup. And I kind of want to talk about each model because there's not a lot. I think there's only like 3 new models coming from them. So the first thing I want to talk about is the 0308 Blkts, and this is gonna be going for about $400. Now, right off the bat, that's I think about $100 more, or it's more than the 0308, the first variant that they came out with. I believe this came out, I think, last year. But I absolutely love this knife. For a guy that doesn't like big knives, like, this knife really does it for me in terms of a big kind of knife carry. I have small to medium sized hands, but yeah, this knife is so awesome. So they came out with this a variant of this. And really the only difference that I saw on their website is that their blade is gonna be like a black oxide tiger stripe finish, which ZT is known to do on their models. I think it's pretty cool. I've never owned that kind of version of that knife with the tiger stripe, but I think it's visually pretty cool. It looks very tactical, kind of Rambo like. So I don't really have a preference one way or the other, but I don't know if that's the reason why they bumped up the price to $400, because I think when this knife came out, the starting price point was $300. So it's about like $100 more to really get essentially the same knife with that tiger stripe black oxide finish. And then I think the only other difference was that it's going to be coming in a black G10. So this is like the Coyote Brown G10. So really, I feel like you're gonna be paying almost $100 more for that, tiger stripe finish, and then just to have a different G10 color. So I don't know if that's worth it for you. I feel like that's really a personal preference type of thing. For some people that that $100 jump, it's definitely worth it. For me personally, I don't think it is, because once you start getting into like the $400 range, man, you're like getting into like Chris Reeve territory. You know what I mean? Like, you're starting to get into like the really, really upper echelons of like the finest production knives out there. And granted, ZT knives, man, I have 2 in my collection. ZT knives, I mean, they're like a fantastic production knife company. I mean, they do some really amazing stuff, but like I said, once you start getting into the $400 price point, you're getting into Chris Reeve's territory at that point. So that's kind of like, you got to kind of weigh that. For some people, like, that might be worth it. For me personally, I don't know if I drop like 400, you know what I mean, on a ZT knife, unless it's like a very special edition. You know, sometimes they'll come out with very special edition ones that are very limited. You know, they like put like all their resources, their machining prowess behind that, like that limited knife. But I think the knives that I'm talking about here, they're, as far as I know, they're gonna be all like regular runs. And so really, I mean, I am a big fan of the 0308 for sure. You know, I love this knife. If you've never tried it, I highly recommend giving it a go, because I think everything about this knife really is just awesome. They have, you know, that titanium, just sculpted, machined titanium scale, and they got that, you know, really cool Coyote Brown G10 scale. It's all contoured. You know, taking this knife apart, it's really easy to take apart and maintain and put back together. The action is stellar, absolutely fantastic, and I love the acoustics of this. I love the acoustics of this knife too. It's just very, it's kind of tingy, you know. It's just awesome. Like I said, it's a great for if you're a guy that doesn't like to carry big knives, because, you know, it's kind of unwieldy. I feel like this would be actually a great knife for you, because I'm kind of the same way. I typically carry knives in like the 3.5 inch, but you know, I'm wearing slacks usually. On weekends I'm wearing jeans, but I love how the profile is very slim. It's a very slim profile, so it sits very flush against your body, so I feel like it carries smaller than it is, than the dimension of the knife, you know what I mean? Anyways, so yeah, that's the new 0308 Blkts. I think that's cool, you know. The next one I want to talk about is the 0762. It's also gonna be coming off at $400. Now I'm just looking at the specs here. I have my notes. You know, it looks pretty cool. It's made in the US. It's gonna come with that tuned detent system. And that's what really helps you to, as a user, be able to fine tune your detent. If you want a heavier detent, you could kind of, you know, you could tune it for that, or if you want a lighter detent. So I think it's kind of cool how ZT gives the user that freedom to really, you know, really kind of mess with the detent to, you know, to your own liking. I've never owned a tuned detent system knife. I've heard mixed things about it. I heard like sometimes it's hard to kind of dial in the detent exactly the way you want, because I guess, yeah, once you kind of have that variability, you know, once you're able to kind of start messing with that detent, you know, the pro of it is that, you know, you get to kind of do it to your liking, but at the same time, if it gets tweaked even a little bit, you know, it might be hard to kind of really dial it in exactly the way you want. I don't know. Like I said, I've never owned a TDS knife, but yeah, I've heard some, you know, some people didn't like it and whatnot. You know, it comes with the 20 CV blade. I feel like nowadays, once you start getting into the $200 and up, you know, 20 CV, you know, is standard. You know, M390 is standard. And from my understanding, 20 CV is like an equivalent to M390. And from my own experience, I have, you know, like, you know, I have the 0562 Ti, also comes in 20 CV. They seem to really have a really good heat treat on this, and so holds the edge, you know, really well, keeps the edge for a good amount. And I've had no issues with ZT's, you know, heat treating and the way they you know, really handle that 20 CV blade. So that's cool. So it looks like also it's a carbon fiber handle, and then what I thought was kind of cool, also they matched that with a blue anodized hardware. So, you know, you see that kind of that blue anodized hardware through that, like that pocket or through the window of the handle. And so I think it does kind of make the knife pop a little bit, you know, for sure. It gives it some personality, you know. You know, as you know, ZT, you know, a lot of knives out there, it's typically, you know, very monochromatic, or, you know, it doesn't have a lot of like visually interesting, like color-wise stuff going on. But I like how ZT kind of decided to add a little bit of that fun and that flair by anodizing the hardware. I couldn't figure out if that hardware is going to be titanium or steel, but regardless, I mean, yeah, I think it's fun how they went with that blue. I could imagine you might be able to kind of mess with that color or whatnot. Let me see what else about this knife. That's interesting. So, the blade length is coming in at about, let me see here. The blade length, it looks like it's coming at about 3.4, which I feel like is optimal for me. I think something like the 560 Ti is around that length, yeah, and even the 0308. So I do like how it's under that 3.5, 4-inch mark. That's cool. And then it's cool. It's very lightweight. It's only at 2.9 ounces. And I think that's pretty cool. Like, I feel like anytime you have a bigger blade, it helps to kind of make the knife lighter. So it's just easier to carry in the pocket. So I like how they really, made it under 3 ounces technically. So I think that's really cool. I love the sheep's foot blade. I'm gonna go ahead and be playing around with my knife as I talk. I do like that it comes with a sheep's foot blade, and it has a two-tone finish. I don't know exactly what two-tone is. It's gonna be like satin and then polished, or well, I don't know. But I like how they add that little detail to it. It just means that they took more time to make the blade look cooler. I'm a big fan of the sheep's foot Warren Cliff style blade. Like bringing back the mini buster. I really like it. To me, I feel like it's the most utilitarian blade shape out there, because about 99% of the time that I'm cutting, I'm using the pinch grip, and I feel like a sheep's foot Warren Cliff style blade is like perfect for that style of cutting. And then there's also sub frame lock. I've never had a sub frame lock knife, so I can't really speak into that, but just something to note. Now the last knife that they're bringing out for 2021 is the 0990. The starting is coming off at $275, so substantially lower than the other two models, which I really love. I feel like the $200 to $300 price range is where ZT does best, because anytime, like I say, you start going to $300, $400 knives, you're getting into like Riot, Chris Reeves. The very top tier of production, knife companies. Don't get me wrong, I feel like ZT is also up there, but I feel like, you start competing with another very big dogs when you start going over $300-$400. So this comes in at a nice $275, which I love. And out of the three models, I'm most interested in this one. So just looking at the stats, it looks like it's based on the award-winning 0999. I've never handled that knife before, but I know a lot of people love that knife. So I really like how they, decided to kind of take a knife that people love and then come and bring a more available model and a price point. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like, it's cool. Skeletonized structure. It looks like that skeletonized structure is steel, which I feel like is very visually appealing and compelling. When I first saw this knife, I was just like, whoa, this looks really cool. You know what I mean? And so I feel like sometimes knife companies, when they try to do something like really revolutionary or really cool, it could either be, they could do it really well, or it could be just like, really, what the heck's going on? I feel like here they did it really well. It looks very sleek, very it just looks very cool. I feel like all the lines flow. I'm a big I'm a big guy. I'm big on lines, so that's what I said about the 030. The mini busters, like all the lines flow like in a very pleasant way. And I feel like the this one 0990 really also does that as well. It's visually, aesthetically very pleasing to me. It looks like it has carbon fiber scales, which is, a lot of knives these days, they come with. And then it also comes with the window cutout, just very similar to the 0308. And I know when this knife first came out, people either loved it, hated it, or I don't know if they loved it, but it was just like some people didn't like it because it just looked kind of funny. I personally don't care. I think it makes the acoustics of the knife very, very nice. Gives it like a very vibrant, tingy sound. So, I'm cool with that. So also, the 0990 will also come out with that window cutout. It is coming on ball bearings, their KVT ball bearing system, which I love. This is running on the same system, and it's incredibly smooth. I hope it's the same stainless steel ball bearing size as the 0308. It is larger. For example, when I compared the ball bearing size of these two knives, the 0308 had larger balls than the 0562, and I love it. I feel like it's a little more robust. It does feel more silky smooth. Yeah, I love this knife. Anyway, so it looks like it's gonna come with that. I hope it comes with those larger stainless balls. Let me see what else. I'm looking at the specs now. 20 CV blade as expected. The blade length 3.25. I love that. I think that's great. But the funny thing is the weight is 2.9 ounces, which is the same as the the 0762. So the 0762 that I just mentioned before comes with almost a 3.5-inch blade, and the 0990 is 3.25 and is the same weight. So maybe it's like that skeletonized, that the steel construction makes the knife a little bit heavier. So if that's something that's a make or break for you, but I just noticed that. It's cool. One of the other cool things that I noticed about this has like that floating bridge thing going on. So I've never handled a knife like that, so I don't know exactly how it works. But if you do have a knife like that, feel free to leave comments, because that was very intriguing to me. I'm like, how, it's a flipper knife, so I don't know exactly that floating bridge, how that kind of comes into play. But yeah, if you have experience with that kind of system, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Also, what I really love about this knife, it looks like it doesn't come with the tune detent system. So like none of the ZTs that I have here come with that tune detent system, and I love the detent on these. It to me is perfectly dialed in. So what? To me, I like that. If it's already working for me, why change it, right? So yeah, that's that. And then I also love, like I said, it's $275. Great price point. I think it's very similar. I think it's cheaper than actually the 0562 Ti, which comes in, I think, at $290. It's definitely cheaper than the 0308. So yeah, man, like you get a very aesthetically, visually intriguing knife for less. And then you get to 20 CV blade, 3.25 inch blade length. So I think out of the three knives that they're releasing, this is my favorite, the 0990. And I'd be really interested in getting one for the channel, and possibly, if I really like it, just putting it into my pocket. So I think the overall summary is that my initial kind of reaction when I saw their 2021 lineup was a little underwhelming. It's only 3 new models, and then they're coming out with a shirt and then a challenge coin. So it was a little underwhelming, but I wonder if it's because of what's going on with the world today, with the whole pandemic, and a lot of people been hit financially, economically. So I wonder if like the market has shifted dramatically, because it's just a lot less just money going around for knives, I could imagine, or at least the higher end, more expensive knives. So I wonder if it was more of like an economical decision for ZT to focus more on their Kershaw brand, which I know when I saw their lineup, they have like 16 new models coming out, and honestly, I was a lot more excited about the Kershaw's 2021 lineup, because they have a lot more like different kind of knives coming out. Their price point is, of course, a lot more affordable. And so, yeah, and they're coming out with a lot more intriguing, like compelling designs. And so, yeah, Kershaw, man, I was like, ooh, that was kind of cool to see. But yeah, but like I said, I wouldn't be surprised, if ZT decided to kind of focus more, on the Kershaw line for 2021, just because, like I said, economy, the pandemic. But you know what? I can't knock ZT, because ZT has really been on, man, a lot of the cutting edge stuff, at like a fairly affordable price point in terms of kind of like the higher end tier. But yeah, they are starting to kind of creep towards Chris Reeve, Riyadh, and nothing wrong with ZT for sure, but then you could get more knife for your money when you start going to $400, $300, $400 price range. But with that being said, I just want to hear your thoughts on what you think of the new the 2021 zero tolerance lineup, and just your general thoughts on like how maybe the pandemic, how this year has been affecting the knife community in general. I know a lot of people are hurting, myself included, in terms of economy wise, in terms of having less kind of expendable cash for our hobbies. So I think for me, I shared in a previous video, one of my goals personally for 2021 is to be more like financially wise, to be more financially healthy, because like I said, there is less money coming in, and that means I have to prioritize other things over my hobby, which is totally fine, because I still have my users and my collection that I totally enjoy having. So yeah, with that being said, love to hear your thoughts. Love to hear your questions on the new ZT 2021 lineup. With that being said, thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Take care.